15 here with Woody and Racing. Time now for Donnie Fandango's Week in Rage.
Hey!
Yeah, mother, I hate you. You, you. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm so pissed off. I'm so really pissed. I'm pissed. I'm so pissed off. I'm so really pissed. I've been so mad lately.
All right, so our good buddy Donnie Fandango. You know him middays 10 to 2 here on 105.7 The Point. One of our best friends.
I mean, he's
All-around-
also a St. Louis radio institution.
all-around great guy.
I hope not.
And man, this guy, he just bottles up some serious rage all week. And we used to not have this segment, and Donnie used to be, I think, overall, a much more agitated person.
Yeah, angry fella.
But now it seems like he's got his outlet, and he's able to let some stuff go, and now he just seems to be a much healthier dude.
Well, I know back in the past, I used to walk by the studio door and just would hear him throwing the garbage can, cursing, punching things. Now, not so much.
Yeah.
Well, I used to come in like probably a couple of days a week, and there'd be something on the mind that I would kind of melt down to you guys about, and then you would laugh, and then say something about it, and then I'd go, huh. Okay, well, I kind of put it in perspective.
Right.
So, like now, instead of it happening a couple times a week, it just happens one. And you're right, man. I go into the weekend, man. It's all off my shoulders.
Yep.
And why waste Donnie's freakouts off the air? I mean, you just got to hear some of the ridiculous stuff that bothers this guy. But hey, if it makes you feel better, this is our job being a friend. So let's get into it. Here's what's pissing Donnie off this week.
All right, first of all, Mizzou on pay-per-view. Listen, I will pay money to see you play teams like Texas, like Oklahoma State, even maybe Kansas State to a certain extent. But when you want me to shell out money to see Mizzou play West Appalachian Street College of Anaheim, no thanks, man. I'm out. I'm sure it has to do with some kind of like marketing dollars somewhere along the way. But you know what, man? I'm out. Please. And most of us Mizzou fans, we're smarter than that. We're not buying into your pay-per-view hype. Reggie Bush giving back the Heisman Trophy, not an admission of guilt. Are you stupid? Like, are you that much of a dumb jock that you think that we're that dumb that we don't know that you're guilty? If you're not guilty, then why are you giving it back then, Reggie Bush? So dumbass.
You should have kept it.
And plus, anyway, anybody that goes out with a Kardashian is just falls below like the Mendoza line for me.
Really?
Every day, yes. I hate those bitches, man. Like,
You
a
wouldn't
lot.
bang him?
Oh, well, that's a whole
You
different
wouldn't bang
story
Bruce
altogether.
Jenner? Still rocking the page boy haircut?
Every day on the way home, man, I pass the Salvation Army type thrift store that's at Bayless and Lime. And outside every day that I drive by there are these like 3 old people stand-up toilets. You know what I'm talking about? Like the ones that, you know, you would think that older people have to have next to their bed if they're in real bad shape. Well, every day.
Like bedpans.
I'm sorry now?
Bedpans?
Yes, but like in a, you know, like you could like
a
sit-
shower chair, but it's got a bedpan on it.
There
It
you
looks
go.
like
Yes.
a walker. It
Yes.
looks like a walker.
Yeah,
with
I
it.
gotcha.
Exactly. All right. So every day, man, I pass this thrift store. Every day I see these things out here, and I don't know why I get agitated about it. I don't know if it's because the store would resell used crappers, or if it's because somebody actually has to buy a used crapper and sit on it. If that ever has to happen to me, like if I'm ever in the financial position that I cannot afford to buy a new one of those, it's okay.
Should I put you down?
Go ahead. Take me out back, man, in the woods, dude. It's cool, man. Tell my kids I loved them. Make sure Mary's taken care of. But, boo, it's done. I mean, that's so gross, and I feel so bad for the people that have to sit on them. Like, that's a necessity for some people.
What about the people that have to wear, like, the adult diapers? Or, like, you know, your kids have to come in and change your diaper.
Again, happens to me.
Ready to be put down?
Yeah.
I'm out. Okay? Listen, I was going to do this kind of like mini rant on the Cardinals, and I was going to kind of get specific about players, but here's the way that I look at this. If they don't care, why should I? All right? I find it unreal, and I find it fantastic that the Cincinnati Reds, the first place Cincinnati Reds, have been averaging around 20,000 people a game. And this was in Bernie Miklas's column a couple of days ago. We are still filling up Busch, which sometimes makes me think we're awesome, and sometimes it makes me feel like we're sheep. I really, truly think that the front office and the ownership is not to blame. I think this all squarely lies on the players and on Tony La Russa. There's some kind of disconnect happening, but you know what? Looks like these guys are going through the motions, but you know what, Cardinals? You lose out on our attention because week 1 of the NFL was unbelievable. The Blue Star training camp today, let's go Blues. And don't give me any of that I'm not a real Cardinal fan crap. You ask anybody that you know around here about my devotions, and the Cardinals are who I live and die with the most. I'm just beyond frustrated as much as of you are. And you know what? I don't know what they're going to do this offseason. I don't know what they're going to do to make it better.
Now, why is that happening? You have to always be like sunshine and rainbows about everything. Otherwise, you're not a fan, or you don't like, they equate that you don't like something else. Like, I remember one day we said, might have been even earlier today, we're talking about our distaste for St. Louis-style pizza.
Yeah, it was this morning.
People are like, well, why don't you just move then?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Because you don't like something.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I talked about how the Cardinals were just terrible and going through the motions.
Like, you can't criticize something and still love it?
And You're supposed to love everything. Toasted ravioli, I love it. Pork steaks, love it.
Yeah.
You know what? Not all of us are sheep all of the time.
You
That's
can't
all
be
I'm
an
gonna say.
apologist all the time.
You jackholes that signal while you're already moving over in the lane, you suck. Like, you just suck. It happened to get on the way here today. It just, you know what? Just don't signal, okay? Because that's going to irritate me less than you already being halfway in the GD lane and then you put your signal on.
It's too late.
Drives me insane, okay? Here's something that is going to end up becoming my fault, even though it was not my fault, all right? Yesterday, I have my show planned out so that at 11 o'clock, I would have 2 GD members of Linkin Park on the phone with me. Now, I have repeatedly been told by our boss that interviews are ratings killers, all right? But I get the interviews because, A, I like doing them, and I try to keep them short, all right? So, 11 o'clock, I'm standing here yesterday with 2 engineers, Dave and Gino. 11 o'clock comes, nothing. 11:15, supposedly, they tried to talk to me, which their version of trying to talk to me was Mike Shinoda quietly singing the song What I Got, which we were playing at the time, in the background. No nothing. No, hey, we're here. No, hey, help us out. No, hey, we can't hear you. No, hey, can you hear me? None of that. So, I wait for another 20 minutes, and I get a call from a bitch from Warner Brothers Records that says to me, where were you? We were looking for you, and we're going to have to move on to another interview. We'll call you back in 15 minutes. Well, 15 minutes becomes 12 o'clock. And then at 12:15, I'm told, I don't know when it's going to happen. And then guess what? Linkin Park never on the phone with me at all yesterday. And did I fail to mention that at about 10:50 yesterday, I had to take the biggest deuce of all time. So I had to wait from 10:50 to go till 11:45 till after I did my giveaway because I was waiting for you douchebags. Now listen, let me tell you something. I'm doing you a favor, Linkin Park, by putting you on the radio in this town. And don't think that I'm not. You need all the press that you can get. And you know what, dudes? I was going to ask you what to say to your fans who are pissed off that you made a record that nobody likes, all right? I was going to give you that time on my show. I stayed up late to prepare for your dumb asses, and what do I got to show for it? Nothing. I'm standing there with my...
Say it.
Penis in my hand and waiting for you to call, and you never did. So it makes me look like a dope to my listeners that I say, I got this guy, I got this guy, I got this guy, and I don't have this guy. Hey, Warner Brothers Records, you want to sell some more records? Then get your guys on the phone. I'm doing them the favor. You're not doing me the favor. You don't, man, our listeners for the most part would probably rather hear 2 other songs than hear those knuckleheads talk about how artistically and creative they are on their new freaking album.
That's true.
So ridiculous, man. So again, I'm sure that this is going to become my fault from Warner Brothers. I'm sure that they're going to say we weren't there. Me, Gino, Dave the engineer, and Gino the engineer standing outside the window pretending that he's going to the bathroom while I'm like inside crying almost because I can't. So that's really essentially...
You know, you need one of those bedside commodes for in here.
There you go, Donnie.
So essentially what I'm saying is...
Replace this chair with one of those.
Is screw you, Warner Brothers Records. One of these days, I swear to God, I'm going to open up on my personal life and my family and my ex-wife, but I'll do that at a time in which I don't know that I can do it without getting myself into too much trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this went on for a long time today. Have a great weekend, and I am out.
Yeah, Donnie! Everybody. There it is. There's Donnie. Donnie, you got to feel better after that.
Oh yeah, I do.
Or a good dump.